This Euro 2020 Picks Knockout Stage edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is presented by WynnBET. Get started today and you'll get a risk-free bet up to $500. Terms and conditions apply. Get the details at wynnbet.com and download the app today. We're also brought to you by PropSwap, America's #1 app to buy and sell sports bets. Use promo code SGP on your first deposit and receive up to $500 in bonus cash. That's PropSwap.com, promo code SGP. We're also brought to you by Coors Light. When you're sweating out your bets, make sure to grab a mountain cold refreshment. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged. It's literally made to chill. We're also brought to you by the SGPN app. Just enter SGPN in the App Store or Google Play Store. Ooh, welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer Dog?
I've shared this with the Twitter sphere already, but it is 2021, June 25th, and this is now one day removed from the day where Sean came into the office and said, "Hey, can we turn on the soccer game?" For the third day in a row, just to find out there was no soccer, and he was sad. Hopefully your dad's not listening, Sean.
No.
Because you have become a soccer
Talking
fan.
about soccer, Sean. Well, listen, the Sixers are out. Try as I might, I can't bite into baseball, and I'm dabbling with soccer. I know it's Euro 2020. I wish they would figure out how to get the United States in. Maybe our women's team, they play well. Send them over there. I mean, aren't most of our players Europeans? Like, come on, throw them in Euro 2020. I want to fill out a bracket, and we do have a bracket now because we're moving on to the group stage. We are going to be doing a deep dive Euro 2020 picks. Oh man, so much to get into. But before we do that, make sure we get to shout out our presenting sponsor, WynnBET. That's right. WynnBET is bringing you the action of real sports betting with the Wynn Las Vegas experience. Get in on all your favorite teams, players, and games. Generous promos, odds, and parlays. They're all happening right now at WynnBET. Spin that parlay wheel. Let it ride. Get started today and you'll receive a special offer up to $500 in a risk-free sports bet. Terms and conditions apply. Get the details at wynnbet.com and download the app today. Ryan, we're talking soccer. So, of course, we're going to be joined by the host of the Soccer Gambling Podcast. You know him. You love him. The one and only Billy Bahate. Billy, thanks for calling in. Thanks for joining us. How is your Euro 2020 going so far?
It's gone well. The only disappointment we've had was that Spain didn't win the group, but we have futures all sitting in positions to win. So I'm doing that thing which you guys really hate, which is looking at how to hedge some of this stuff to make sure that we do end up with a profit, because we do on my site we do sports investing. We don't do sports gambling. So I work on the soccer investing podcast. But yeah, that's kind of the position we're in. We're in a really good position to make some hedges, because it would be a shame to let this all go to pot now. But I mean, I don't see it. The teams that we need to go through to the quarterfinals with Italy, Spain, Holland, I'm not seeing any losses in this matchup. The interest for me is still what it is at the beginning. The tournament starts now. We've lost 8 teams out of 24. It's pretty much meaningless, that beginning phase, other than for the small countries getting to participate, and obviously from a betting perspective where we've navigated ourselves into a profitable position. But now the tournament really starts. All the big favorites from the beginning are still there. We haven't lost anybody, and it's still wide open. The market has hardly changed. All we know now is that we have a draw where 16 teams are going to be whittled down to 8 and down to 4, and we know potentially what a final can be and what a final can't be. So we are kind of, for American guys, we have an NFC AFC kind of divide where you have two possible halves.
And if England Germany is the AFC, I'm just going there because I think the AFC is going to be weaker this year. Maybe strong near the top, but weak overall. One thing that stood out to me, and Sean and I even discussed soccer futures in the office yesterday.
I don't recall that.
You see England, Germany, and the Netherlands all clumped together there, and then no one else by a mile. I see Denmark there. Maybe the next team. It's interesting to make them I know a lot of people were having them get to the round of 8. I see why now. But it stood out to me that I said what to you? I said it seems like we should all go to the window. And I know we'll talk about each game, but we should all go to the window and bet the Netherlands right now at plus 850.
Smoking my weed.
Get some Dutch action because
I gave you that one. I gave you guys that one out. I gave you that at plus 250 that they would make the semis if you remember.
Yeah,
because I told you they had a very easy route. And that looks like it's going to be the case.
Well, and even now, though, sitting like with, we're down to 16 teams, 4 wins away, whatever, plus 850 still feels like you're going to have a team definitely in the Final Four, right? Maybe down to that Final 2, sitting on 850. Even now feels like a decent value, Sean.
Well, and then there's the emotional angle.
Well, we like Amsterdam for other reasons.
Yeah, Amsterdam, big friend of the program, but Netherlands wasn't that was the player that they lost because he collapsed on the field, right? Like,
no.
That's
Denmark.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Netherlands, Denmark, same difference.
That's the Rocky story right there. Like, dun, dun, dun,
I was
dun.
gonna say they could, they have a background there.
Anyway.
Before we get into breaking down these games, was there any big surprise, Billy, from the group stage? It seems relatively chalky, but any surprises as
Sean
the
knows
team that didn't get in or did?
I was going to say Sean knows all the countries, so he's assuming it's nothing, no big surprises.
No huge shockers, but what was the biggest surprise if there was one?
The biggest surprise for me wasn't in terms. So if you look at the bracket and you're presented with these teams that have gone through, there's no surprises there. If you woke up from a coma, and I woke up from an anesthetic this time last week.
Real quick, shout out to Billy, literally, playing through the pain, a Rocky-like performance, dropping podcasts from his hospital room. So a real D-Gens only.
Hashtag D-Gens only.
Just powering through.
He's inspired.
Appreciate that.
He's inspired.
That was that one 15-minute show I did. If you will see it, it's like I'd always get to 20, but this was a pain-filled 15. And I was like, this has to be okay. If they knew what my bloody underwear looked like from the camera,
and of course, Billy did send it to the group text.
Well, permission.
It's because one guy complained about a pick, which was
and of course that set Billy off.
That is a disgusting act.
All right, Billy. So get it back to you. You come out of a coma. You look at the knockout stage. Nothing is that crazy, but there was a bit of a surprise in the group stage.
There was no surprise in terms of waking up in a coma and seeing the teams that are there, but it's the way some of the teams are playing. England, who are known for their attack in terms of having Sterling, Grealish, Rashford, Harry Kane, who hasn't scored a single goal and started as a plus 500 favourite to be the Golden Boot winner. He hasn't got a single goal. So England have gone through, they've won the group, and it's the lowest number of goals scored in history for a group winner. They've scored 2 goals in 3 games and have won the group without conceding. I mean, stylistically, that's not how you expected England to approach the tournament. Germany's defense, well, I knew it was going to be bad, but it's even worse than we expected. Other than that, Spain, they've been known for years for this tiki-taka football where they try to break teams down by passing them to death. We thought there might be some evolution with more young players because he left a lot of the old players at home and he didn't pick any Real Madrid players. These kids that he's got in, despite winning the last game 5-0, prior to that, they were doing more of the old man Spain tiki-taka than we've ever seen before. They weren't even going anywhere with it. The first game against Sweden was a 0-0 draw where a team had 85% of the ball. That's like the equivalent of one team making one first down and tying the game. So like that, I don't know why I make these NFL analogies.
Oh, no, I appreciate it. It makes so much sense. I'm able to wrap my head around it. You did make one mistake.
I like to think that like everybody that's listening now is used to this soccer stuff by now. But yeah, I mean that they were very, very disappointing. But they did win their last game 5-0. They were also on COVID protocol, so they weren't able to prepare properly. And maybe now they've kind of caught up with it and they look like they're supposed to look. But other than that, it's really difficult to reach for a surprise. Italy, I guess, are a positive of the tournament because they came in on an unbeaten run. They've now got 11 straight wins with 11 straight games without conceding a goal. So they look really, really strong. But the strength of opponent has been really weak. So I think I saw picks-wise, making Italy their power, the number one in the power rankings, I recommend they hire somebody that knows about soccer.
I mean, honestly, when I saw the price, I was like, that's interesting because obviously, Sean, we're invested in Belgium right now on the advice of Billy like 3 months ago at this point, maybe 4. And you look at the path, and we should just talk about games, Sean.
Let's do it.
I want to bet on. I want to get some bets.
I don't remember tipping Belgium to you.
I think I sent you a text and was like, "Hey, need a random pick for the Euros sometime back in February," and you said Belgium, and so we have Belgium.
Since then, they've got issues with.
Nope, don't tell me about the issues.
Yeah, we don't want to hear any bad news. Only positive Belgium news. All right, let's get into the picks. Before we do, I want to shout out PropSwap. We, of course, are brought to you by PropSwap, America's #1 app to buy and sell sports bets. PropSwap, baby. You can find the best odds on the NBA championship, the Stanley Cup. The futures market is red hot right now. Of course, the Knights just got eliminated by the Canadiens, so maybe you're riding a Canadiens ticket. I know in the NBA, there's a ton of value in some of these props because, Suns were up big, and that Suns to win the championship ticket probably skyrocketed in value. Maybe should have sold it before Game 3. Probably took a little hit, nothing too crazy. The best part about PropSwap is you see the futures tickets guys are selling. You can bid on them, so you don't have to give them their listed price. You should bid lower so you can get a better deal. And that's the best part about PropSwap.com. You're getting the best price. You're getting a price better than you might be able to get at your sportsbook. Last week, a PropSwap customer purchased a Bucks future for $150 when they were down 1-0. Of course, they came all the way back, won it outright after a Game 7 against the Nets. He sold it for $1,000, $850 profit. That is sports investing at its finest. Again, you don't need to actually have your ticket win. You just need the odds to improve. Go to PropSwap.com, promo code SGP. Get up to $500 in your first deposit. Promo code SGP, PropSwap.com.
I can't wait to list my Giants futures on PropSwap for the exact amount that you would win.
You can sell your Belgian futures.
Oh yeah, maybe we
in the contest.
Yeah, we're actually in a contest, so we don't have a physical ticket. If we would, maybe we would sell because the future price. I think we locked it in for the contest at 6-1. They are now 9-1 to win it all. Portugal's 11-1. They match up first here. Belgium is plus 150 on the money line. Portugal plus 210. I know what you're thinking. Wow, that's crazy. You could bet on both sides. You're guaranteed a victory. Not so fast. Again, if you're new to the soccer betting, especially in these knockout stages, they'll have a draw price. And so if the game goes 90 minutes and goes to OT or a shootout, you would not win your money line bet. So make sure you look and there's a to advance bet that would be like a traditional money line bet.
Billy, like a proud father, watching Sean explain how betting on soccer works. Love it. I also threw in the to advance line because that's more, the more American, like who's going to win the goddamn game. I mean, I don't know. This is the game of the round outside of the England-Germany game. And immediately Ronaldo becomes evil, and we're on Team Belgium.
He is evil.
Let's hear Billy tell us why we're wrong.
Yeah, what are you doing here, Billy? 90-minute draws at plus 215, total 2.5.
This is an odd one to me. There's the line shifted from the start of the tournament to Belgium being stronger favourites. These guys were rated evenly going into the tournament. Obviously, Portugal coming out of the group of death, but I think that's a positive because they've already seen Germany. They've already seen France. They've gone 2-2 with France in order to qualify. Belgium have had a relatively straightforward path. Now, I still think these two teams are equal. There's two variables here. The 2 extra days off for Belgium, but Portugal are playing in weather in Seville, which is Portuguese weather. So the Belgians could be affected by that at some point in the game. So I think both factors do level them out. Obviously, 2 days rest is a lot, and I would usually lean towards that. But if it's Portuguese weather and you're Belgium, this is going to be like a home game. Plus, I think you can get more Portuguese people down to Sevilla in Spain than you can get Belgians down there. So there may be more people in the crowd as well. So all those other factors even out. I think when you're looking at the game, Belgium have won the last European Cup. Belgium have won the Nations League. Portugal won the last European Cup. Portugal won the Nations League. Belgium got to the last World Cup semi-final. So Portugal know how to win. And everybody's looking at this game and they'll be like there'll be goals, De Bruyne, Lukaku versus Fernandes and Ronaldo. This has got all the star players in it. The problem is that the Portuguese manager, he's very, very negative. So he may set up in a very, very negative way to kill this game off. So Portugal, despite the fact being able to go toe-to-toe with his team, you may see you'll see a back four for sure. But what you saw in the France game was a 5-man midfield with only Ronaldo going up front and getting some support from Jota. They even dropped Bruno Fernandes, who's the key player at Manchester United, in order to be more pragmatic. So if you're doing that against France, I can imagine you're doing that against Belgium and looking to create chances on the break. This Belgian backline is very, very slow. So they are going to need to break through and penetrate that with De Bruyne and Lukaku. They're going to have to take chances.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Sorry to interrupt. You said penetrate a lot. I had to drop it.
Yeah, they're going to have to. They're going to have to be able to. They're going to have to score because there will be. Ronaldo will get a chance. In this defense, it was world class 5 years ago. Now you've still got the same players, and the players that come in and replace them, like Denayer, are not as good as the players that have gone, like Vincent Kompany. So with Alderweireld and Vertonghen there, they were great 5 years ago. Now going up against Cristiano Ronaldo, he's not aged like a 36-year-old. If you look at his body, if you look at his diet, if you look at the thing that he did with the Coke bottles where he said he was disgusted that they were in front of him. This
Give me that
really
water.
Yeah, if anybody signs him, if he doesn't stay at Juventus and somebody signs him in the summer, it's not going to be like signing a 36-year-old. Like, you need to disregard everything with this human. He's not a normal human. He's not a 36-year-old man.
He's a Tom Brady.
Not even a normal 30. Exactly. He is the Brady of soccer, and he can carry on for another 4 or 5 years easily. He's in no rush to go and get that easy MLS retirement money and make a big name for himself in America. He can do that in 4 more years. I genuinely believe he'll play the next World Cup as well. So yeah, this is so difficult to call. I just think tactically, I think Portugal will find a way to do it. I do like them as an underdog here, but Belgium. No. But if you're betting this game, that will be one where you're very uncomfortable because Belgium are going to be the ones that are pushing forward and having much, much more of this ball.
So it sounds like you're taking you're taking Portugal to advance. Is that your play? What are you thinking here, Billy?
Yeah, I like the draw at plus money. I like the tie at plus money, and I like Portugal to be able to find a way to get through because they just seem like more of a team that will grind their way through. I mean, there's only one way this game is going to play out. It's going to be Belgium dominating the ball, scoring, and then Portugal trying to change their tactics too late because they have broken through, or it's going to be Portugal scoring and then everybody sitting behind the ball. I don't think this is going to be over 3. I don't think this is going to be your 3-4 goals that people are. I mean, I hope it is because I don't think I'm going to take action on the over/under line. But I just don't think it's going to be as interesting as people are hoping for.
Kramer, where are you at? I'm just going to do Belgium to advance and root for our futures ticket.
I love taking the 90-minute draw.
I can't root for a draw.
I'm gonna jump on Billy with that, and then I'm gonna say I think this game goes the penalty kicks. I'll take the squad, and maybe the better analogy for Cristiano Ronaldo because he's an elite level athlete, not like Tom Brady, would be LeBron James.
Oh yeah,
in that he has been almost impervious to real injury. And he has the physical traits that we really haven't, like we haven't seen a guy who's that quick, that fast, and also that big. And you've seen like those things of his vertical leap. Like, those that say poo-poo to soccer, like Ronaldo has a higher vertical leap than most dudes in the NBA. So good luck with that. And then I'll also take Belgium to win in penalty kicks 10-1.
Oh, wow. All right. And how long?
Just a side bet that if you can find it, over 2.5 games to go to penalties in the tournament is available at plus 150.
Ooh,
I like that.
Yeah, I mean it does seem like when you get down to these rounds, like teams are more likely to, what do they say? Park the bus.
Yeah. What?
When you get to a tie, you very rarely see a goal in that 30-minute extra because people get very scared.
Yeah.
And so it does give you some good value at plus 150.
I love it.
All right, moving over to Italy, Austria. Italy, of course, like Billy said, coming in possibly a little overrated. Minus 210. Austria plus 700. The draw sits at plus 320. Italy is 650, plus 650 to win it all.
Those futures seem a little off.
Austria is plus 15,000. It seems like, just judging by these numbers, it should be a bloodbath. Does Austria have any chance of hanging in this game, Billy?
I don't think they do. I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult than those odds suggest and what everybody else suggests. Everybody's looking past this game. I think that's fine. I think Italy will end up going through. But this is going to be something that you'll see a lot in this round of 16. It's going to be a team that won the group going up against an inferior team who are a massive underdog. So what they'll do is they'll put men behind the ball. I think what's key here is you have a player in Austria called David Alaba, who's capable of playing as a defender. He's just signed for Real Madrid. He's capable of playing as a left back, and he's capable of playing out wide and in midfield. Now, in the first game, Austria played him out wide against North Macedonia, and they did really well, and he was really influential. Then when they played against Holland, they moved Alaba to the back and tried to sit in and get a draw from that game, and they lost 2-0. Where you see Alaba play, I think, would indicate how Austria are going to set up tactically. So for me, it's going to be a case of, if they go for it, they get beat, but they get beat in a game that has some goals. And if they sit in, they get beat eventually, and it'll be a little bit more frustrating for you. There may be an in-play opportunity where this is goalless at halftime, and Italy need to find a way to be more creative and break through later on. So I think this is either going to be like 2-1, 3-1 Italy if it's an open game, which I don't think it will be. I think we will see Alaba utilized defensively, and I think Italy will have to break this team down.
Sean, based on that feedback, under 2.5 goals is plus 240.
Really? Oh, yeah, wow. I didn't realize it was that juice.
The number's at I'm seeing this one all the way up to 3.5 now.
Yeah, it seems like
I like Italy Italy added with the under 3.5 for a bit more safety.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem like this game getting to 4 goals would be unlikely.
Yeah, I'm going to go with I like that adjusted little dog action. Give me under 2.5 plus 240. And where are you at, Kramer? What do you like here? What do you fancy?
I mean, again, I think if they play that style of game, he stated earlier, Italy not exactly giving up goals. So another one, maybe you sprinkle the draw. Maybe we found something, Sean. Maybe we just play the draw in every single one of these games and see how it plays out.
I don't think they'll get there, but I do think they'll be resistant for a little bit. A little bit. I give them more credit than other people.
So maybe the first half draw, but yeah, I think to me, where I'm putting my money is on the under 3.5. I don't see any.
Yeah, if that's even money, then or
minus
110. That feels like a gift. I'm gonna go on a ledge and go under 2.5, but plus 240.
Austria winning with Belgium winning would be good for our future.
That would be perfect. Moving over to France, Switzerland. France coming in as one of the favorites here. Plus 410 on the future to win it all. Switzerland plus 10,000. As far as the game itself, France minus 190 to win in regular time. Switzerland plus 650. Draw sitting at 295.5. I mean, for what a big favorite they are to win the whole tournament. France to win in 90 minutes at minus 190 feels like a good price, right, Billy? Or am I not seeing this right? What am I missing?
No, that is a good price. I mean, France have had 2 draws in this tournament, but against Hungary, they should have been about 4-0 up at half time. So they are having problems. They are having problems putting the ball in the net, which is weird because you have Griezmann, Mbappe, and Benzema. So at some point, these players are going to go off. Benzema already got 2 against Portugal in the last game. So we're waiting for Kylian Mbappe to turn up. He's supposed to be the best player in the world after Messi and Ronaldo retire. So we're looking for him to kind of go off here. I've picked him in my fantasy team and captained him because I think this is a relatively straightforward game for them. The Swiss have been pretty bad in this tournament. They beat Turkey, but Turkey have been one of the biggest letdowns. They dominated the game against Wales, but when they played a top team against like Italy, they really did nothing. They offered nothing in that game. So I think this will be a pretty straightforward victory. I think France's route to the semi-finals is pretty straightforward. It looks chalky, but France, I saw them at even money, plus 100, to make it to the semis. And I don't see how you go wrong with that, because that's two outright futures piled together for them to win the next two games. And it seems like when the matches actually happen, I mean, what's this one to them to qualify? It's like minus 500.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
So it's going to be minus 500, and if they get against Spain, they're going to be around about minus 300. According to my maths, that doesn't add up to evens. That doesn't add up to plus 100. That adds up to around about minus 140, minus 150, if my projections are correct. So there's decent value there.
Yeah, I'm with you. So I'm going to take France minus 190 to get it done in the 90, and then France to get to the semis at what Billy was saying, right around even money. That seems like a great price. Where are you at, Kramer?
I think I heard Billy say that like this team is going to apply a lot of pressure. Maybe they're down around the goal a bunch. I plucked this out more. This was just icing on the cake. I plucked this out more because I saw how many corners Switzerland had won in the group stage, and maybe I shouldn't be. Maybe I should get out of my spreadsheet on this one. Just did a Google search for those wondering. But the over, you can get over 8.5 corner kicks in the France-Switzerland game for plus 110 right now. And between
what do you root for in there? Knock it out of bounds over in that particular area to get the corner kick.
It's pressure, right? So I mean, if both teams are able to find attacking moments, corner kicks will happen. So I'm going to say, give me over 8.5 corner kicks.
Okay. Yeah, you also have corners handicaps offered in some games. So if you think it's definitely going to play out like that, you can get corner handicaps as well, corner spreads.
But do you have any pick on the game, Ryan?
I mean, it's not super fun. I guess I'll ride with you on the France in regular time. I mean, this is one of the games that should be an easy advance. The price is right.
Yeah, and to get it, I mean, just looking at the 90-minute price and then the advance price, minus 190 to minus 500, it seems like a crazy difference. I guess they're, Billy pointing out they had a couple ties. Maybe that's why you're getting a lower price here.
It's just a different game when you know that there's extra time and penalty kicks versus when you don't, like in the group stage. So,
Croatia, Spain, squaring off. Spain is the favorite, minus 160 to win in 90. Croatia plus 550. Draw sitting at 295. Croatia 60 to 1 to win it all. Spain 8 to 1. Sounds like you think, Billy, you have Spain moving on here, but any thoughts on when they get it done, or any thoughts on, I don't know, the game in general? Or it seems like they should move on from Croatia fairly easily, although maybe this is where we start talking dog time.
They should. Like, this is a really young team against a really old team, and both of them play a similar way. Croatia did the opposite, where they've carried on coming to the tournament with the same players. They've gotten to the World Cup final, and it just seems a tournament too far. They did manage to put in a performance against Scotland, although for the first two games they looked very, very average, like they weren't even going to go through. I know some guys that were making bets on Scotland, but you should never bet on Scotland in a major tournament. Like, that's like a golden rule. But they got past that, and Spain ended up beating Slovakia 5-0. So it's difficult to really know where they're at. It is definitely a young versus old game, and this is going to be quite possession-based. Like, you're going to see loads and loads of midfield action. Feels like an under to me in terms of just where the ball's going to be most of the time in the action areas in the middle third. But I do think Spain will be able to get the goal to go through. I don't know if I like them doing it in 90 though. And if it goes to penalty shootouts, Spain will lose this game because Spain missed their last 5 penalties in a row and cannot find a penalty taker.
That's crazy.
That's scary. So if you're gonna take, I would take Spain to qualify, and I would take a hedge on Croatia on penalties from the get-go in case Spain can't get it done.
The over/under is sitting at 2.5 with the even money. And then what was the other thing? To win on penalties as the hedge for Croatia is a whopping 15-1.
Wow.
Which that's a pretty high price for a team to win on penalty. I mean, I like the angle.
He laid out a great case, but I'm gonna go Croatia to advance, get a little dog action here at plus 280, and a small sprinkle on the penalty.
I mean, Spain is like betting against like a dome team that you just know is gonna find a way to choke at some point.
What are you on, Kramer?
Real quick, as a recently made Lord of Scotland, I'm gonna take some issue with what Billy was saying about the great Scottish team. No, I don't really care. No, it's fine. It's fine. I got a little bit of land there. I'm a lord. No big deal. We can talk about it later. Croatia to advance. That's a fun bet. Plus, this Croatia team.
I know the Scottish fans. They have a phrase: ABE, anyone but England.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a little soccer stuff I picked up.
Okay.
I'm just moving room, guys, because it's too dark where I was. I'm just hopping around.
All right. So, what's your official play, Ryan? While Billy's readjusted his setup here.
I told you I like going with you on that Croatia.
All right, let's do it.
That's a fun one, and I'll also take the under.
Okay, under. Do we have a number? Under 2.5. So you're Croatia to advance under 2.5. Are you on the penalty kicks?
I mean, I think I'll find my way to betting a lot of these games with the penalty kicks because it's just a fun D-Gens only. I mean. Pretty much, you're locking in 10 to 20 to 1. I mean, there's a lot of positive EV right there, Sean.
Hashtag Legends Only.
Billy was saying it was a little too hot where he was in his room. Sounds like Billy could use a Rocky Mountain refreshment, a.k.a. an ice cold Coors Light. Oh, man, this is it's summer. It's a slow down summer. Every time I get hot, every time I start sweating, the thing that's going through my head. I took a hot yoga class yesterday, Ryan. I'm sure you'll make fun of that. Sweated out a lot of toxins from my body, creating more room to put in Rocky Mountain refreshment,
don't tell me.
An ice cold Coors Light. The entire time I was there, I was like, oh, can't wait to get out of here and into just crack open an ice cold Coors Light. It's cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged. It's literally made to chill. Coors Light. It's the one I choose when I need to unwind. So when you want to hit reset, reach for the beer that's made to chill. Get Coors Light in the new look, delivered straight to your door with Drizzly or Instacart. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. And as always, celebrate responsibly. What were you going to say, Ryan?
No, nothing. I was just, you giving me this ammunition. Hot yoga, huh?
Yeah. I mean, again, feel great. Sweating
to the oldies.
It was got a great sweat in, and again, cooled off with a nice ice cold Coors Light. Sweden, Ukraine. Oh man, this is probably like one of the better matchups as far as odds go. Sweden plus 135 to win in 90. Ukraine plus 235. Draw sitting at 215. Pretty even on the advance line. Minus 165 for Sweden, 130 for Ukraine. But you look at the odds to win it all, Sweden 50 to 1, Ukraine 120 to 1. So seems like there's a little discrepancy here on who should on the odds to win the entire tournament and the odds to win this game. Billy, where are you at, Sweden, Ukraine?
It's a tough one. Sweden have all the momentum because they've come in with 7 points off winning that group. So they have they're very, very difficult to break down. That Poland game was a little bit more open. Because number one, you're going up against the best striker in the world, Lewandowski, and he took chances. And number two, it didn't matter to Sweden, so they can go out there and play an open game. When we saw them not play an open game against Spain, they got a draw with 16% of the ball. So that makes them very difficult to break down. So they'll be difficult to come up against in this group stage. Ukraine as well. They went toe-to-toe with Holland. What surprises me most is something we didn't touch on, but Austria and Ukraine, when they played each other in the group stage, the draw, and you'll never see this again, was even money, plus 100, because all they needed to do was play out a draw, and they would have both advanced. But somehow Austria won that game. By winning that game, they gave themselves less rest and gave themselves the game against Italy.
Italy, yeah.
And they could be in this spot that Ukraine are in, which is where they were set up to be. And Austria and Sweden is a much easier game for Austria. So it was confusing to me. I actually had money on the 0-0 draw because I thought they were really gonna play out a draw, like as in like not have any attacking intent at all. So it's weird we ended up in this position, and it'll be even stranger if Austria go out and Ukraine are in the next round by losing that game. That will be bizarre. But I just think Sweden are the better team here. I think they win a game that you don't have to watch. I think there won't be much goal mouth action here.
Maybe they had a really sweet third string striker they needed to see out on the field one last time.
Who is the Nate Sudfeld of this situation?
Yeah, I mean, isn't this another game you just take the draw? Maybe
at plus 215.
I'm going to sprinkle the plus 215 on the draw here.
All right, I'm going to keep it simple and just have Sweden to advance. Although the Ukraine storyline is kind of interesting, but yeah, Sweden to advance. Keep it simple. England, Germany. This should be a really good matchup. Of course, I know Billy will be doing a deep dive on the Soccer Gambling Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the Soccer Gambling Podcast, rate it, review it.
Huge revenge spot for England for like every war.
Yeah,
past 200 years.
Wow, come on, they won both wars. I mean, certainly we helped. 2-0 in World Wars. Eat it, Germany. England plus 155 during the 90. Germany plus 200. Draw sitting at 215. England minus 125 to advance. Germany plus 100. They both are sitting at 7-1 to win it all. Billy, are you going with your home club team here, England, or are you taking the hated Krauts with Germany?
I'm gonna break this down like more tactically on my show because I have a lot of thoughts on this. In a nutshell, there is a way that I think England can set up to win this game very, very easily. Now, Germany play 3 at the back. They play 4 in midfield and 3 up front. So these 2 wide players they play in the midfield, they're supposed to double up as defenders. They're called wing backs. They're supposed to get up and down. Now, when they are caught out of position, what normally happens with this formation is that the 3 central defenders are supposed to be high up the pitch because it's an attacking lineup. Now, because Germany play Mats Hummels in their team, they cannot go that far up the pitch because Mats Hummels will not be able to get back. Now, that means that they will sit too deep and they will invite teams on. Both situations completely benefit England if they play their pace players. And that means Rashford, Saka, or Sancho. Any of these players that play, they should be able to terrorize Germany with pace. I'm concerned that we're going to see a team that has... I mean, Jack Grealish should play, but he should play in a midfield creative position, not in a wide position. If Grealish is in a wide position and Foden's in a wide position, that completely neutralizes the advantages that England have in this game. So England come into this also having not conceded a goal, but if they play a back 4, Germany like to attack with a 5. And what we saw against Portugal in that one game that they won against another back 4, we saw this ball spread all over the box, left, right, switched all over the place, giving them a number advantage in the box. So England's holding midfielders have to be switched on. But again, I would go with the youth. I would go with Rice and Bellingham. I would not put Jordan Henderson in this team. So for me, it's going to be all down to team selection, whether it's going to be Gareth Southgate going for the players that are tried and trusted and the old guard and the people that he likes and has always played, or whether he's going to take a risk and play these youth team these younger players that will play these Germans off the park. Like, I'm talking like they will be getting over the top and in and behind, and there will be a huge gap between midfield and the defense every 5 minutes. They'll be able to exploit this. It's a tactical nightmare if it's played right, but unfortunately, I'm not the England manager, so I don't know how he's going to go.
That sounded a little bit like you're concerned he might go the same way he's always gone, which is not the way you want him to go. And I got to ask, because I probably, I tend to root for England over Germany in situations. So I'll probably be rooting for England here. Why not? Fun bet, plus 155. They take care of it in regulation. But if Germany were to win this game, they are going to win in a shutout, right? Germany's going to win 1-0. Germany to win in a shutout, Sean?
Yeah.
To win a nil, as they call it, or whatever? To win to nil?
No. This team won't keep I don't think this team can keep a clean sheet.
4-1. Plus 410.
They shipped 2 goals to Hungary, so
that's true.
The defense is the problem. So I can see England have played badly in this whole tournament so far and have still managed to get through as group winners, and they're playing here against Germany. Essentially, for me, the most interesting part about this game and why I'm giving it so much coverage on my second last 16 show is because I think it's a semi-final. I honestly feel that whoever comes out of this should blitz through this half of the draw. Even though Germany are the 12th ranked team in the world and they can't defend, they should go through. England, 3 home games coming up in this tournament if they get through here. So this is at Wembley. The quarterfinal is not, but then they return to Wembley for a semi and a final. So it's all set up for them here if they play the right team. And I think to some extent they will be able to beat this Germany team. But if we go out as usual, it will be penalty shootout, and as usual, there'll be an excuse.
Oh no!
So I'm gonna be a little more optimistic than Billy. I'm taking England to advance -25. All that being said, do you have England moving on, Billy?
Yeah, I do. I think you've got to be very, very tactically unaware to see that they are slow at the back. So I think this decision will be made, and the right decision will be made, and we will see more pace in this team. Phil Foden's great, and he's had a great season, but I don't think he belongs in this game. This isn't a game where, when we come up against Sweden or Ukraine, probably Sweden if we get through this game, then we really will need those skill players where we have to break a team down, we have to do something special, we have to play a special pass or anything like that. This is not that game. This is a case of they're slow, they push up high up the pitch and attack in a lot of numbers, and if we catch them continuously on the break, we'll score goals. To me, it's common sense.
Let's go.
I mean, I nothing better than when I step onto the pitch as a youth soccer coach and I see someone who is playing a high press with slow players. It's easy.
It's tough to get back.
You just need people willing to run their ass off the whole game.
Netherlands, Czech Republic. Netherlands -150 as the favorite. Czech Republic 430 on the to win in 90 minutes. 90-minute draw +285. Netherlands 850 +850 to win it all, and Czech Republic +10,000 to advance. Netherlands -305. Czech Republic +220. Is there any case for Czech Republic moving on here and surviving?
Yeah, definitely. They did get a draw against Croatia. They won against Scotland. Look, they're organised. England scored the 1 goal against them, but they couldn't score a second. So they'll be one of those teams that are organised. In Patrick Schick, they have a player who scored the goal of the tournament. They have a player who should attract the interest of top clubs. So this Czech team are coming back. They had some really, really bad years. Like Euro 96, they were in the final. Italia, back in 1990, they were a strong team as well. We're coming out. Obviously, we lost the era where they had players like Nedved and Peter Cech, and then we had a little down period for the Czech Republic, but they seem to have decent players again. So I don't think this will be easy for Holland at all. Like, this will be a game where they'll find them difficult to break down. Holland are missing defensive players as well in Van Dijk. De Ligt has just come back into the team, so that's a good thing for them as well. But yeah, this isn't a Holland team that are unbeatable. This is a Holland team that got a really nice draw that I identified, and I think they'll beat Czech Republic, but I don't think this is going to be easy. I don't think if they go out here, I'm not going to be stunned and call it the upset of the tournament. I don't think it will be that.
I'm riding the underdog angle. Give me Czech Republic +220. The fact that they were able to hang in some of these group stage games.
Take +430, man.
What's +430?
Them to advance to win in regulation.
You know what? Yeah, you're right. Let's go +430. We don't need any. We don't have to worry about
if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen because Netherlands has a lapse, like Billy's saying. This is a professional fucking
catch them sleeping. Let's go Czech +430. Kramer, are you on? You riding?
No. I think it's a fun story, but I'll go the other way. I'll take the. I guess.
What's your official play here?
I'll take Netherlands -150. I think they'll
in the 90. Billy, are you taking Netherlands -150?
No.
Yeah, I think if it's Netherlands, it's in the 90, and I do like that price. I saw that today. I think it's a case again. It's like a lot of these games. It sounds like, oh, this guy has the same opinion a lot, but these games are like that. You're looking at teams that came third, in their group,
Yeah.
going against teams that came first. So what's going to happen? They're gonna realize there's an inferiority there, and they can set up to defend. And look, these are the teams that are not out. They may have come third, but they still got through. So they're organized enough, and they're obviously all top players to be in this tournament to make it difficult to break them down. It's not going to be. We're not going to see any 5-0s here in this round of 16 for anyone. So yeah, it's even in Switzerland, France, which for me is the easiest game to pick. It's going to take some time to break Switzerland down, and once you do, that's when games open up, and then you may see 2 and 3 when teams come out. But initially, like, the idea of all these teams is to survive the first 30 minutes. That's the mentality of all of these teams that came third.
Now you mentioned that's just survive the first 30 minutes. Yeah. Wait, I thought it's 90 minutes in a game.
It is, but
first 30 minutes.
He's saying that in the first 30 minutes, you don't want to come out, have a lapse, let someone give up a goal, because then you have to completely alter your strategy potentially. And it's just, you kept using the word scared, which is kind of right. Like, there's a little bit of that playing not to lose, but
and I wonder, in the same way that we hammer these first half unders in March Madness, is there a theory to maybe playing some first half unders in the knockout stage of the Euro 2020?
Honestly, I think as we've been talking, I've kind of been thinking about it, but maybe we just play the tie. We play, like, the tie for the first half sits around plus 110. I think I see a plus 125 in the Netherlands game. Maybe you just blast the first half tie.
I like that. I could get it. I could room for a tie. Well, what is the over under for these games? Is it like
very
1.5?
Juice. So maybe the way to play it is you take under a half goal for every first half, because they'll be as low as plus 140, plus 170, but as high as plus 205.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a fun angle to play. Just root against scoring and ties, Sean. You're really getting into soccer, dude. Like, you're really finding your way.
Here I come, soccer. Wales squares off against Denmark. Wales plus 440 in the 90. Denmark minus 120. 90-minute draw, 225. Denmark 19-1 to win it all. Wales 100-1. Billy, Denmark cruises here, or do Wales give them a game?
Yeah, I've been doing this whole show trying to work out the order you're going in, because this is the first game that gets played of the whole round. This gets played tomorrow at 5. So I don't know what you.
I found a bracket and I copied and pasted it.
Oh, okay. You used the bracket. That makes sense now. What you've done, right? So yeah, this is the first game. This happens tomorrow, 5 o'clock. Wales and Denmark. Denmark have the big emotional story. They actually had that incident with Christian Eriksen and decided to go out and play 90 minutes later, which was a mistake because they lost to one of the worst teams in the tournament. They were then up against it. They had to get a result against either Belgium or Russia. And they were beating Belgium at half time, and then they just, got outclassed in the second half. But then we saw what happens when they play a team at their level against Russia. This is what they should have done to Finland. They absolutely pasted Russia in that game, 4-1. With Wales are very well organized. They sit back. They rely pretty much solely on Gareth Bale and Aaron Ramsey to create for them, and that's what they'll do again here. So this isn't going to be a cakewalk for Denmark at all. But I think with that Eriksen story behind you and that momentum now, I do see Denmark advancing here in this. I know that's plus money, so I would just take the money line play.
Yeah, I mean, Denmark seems like a cheaper price than it should. And maybe you roll the dice on the 90 minutes at minus 120 because they're definitely going to win. They're going to advance. Yeah. And I think, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I think a lot of people were calling them out as a team that they, really like to get to that round of 8 because of the path they might have. And now we're seeing
That's the future. I got that future last 8.
All right.
One thing I said about Wales, they've done really well to get to this point, considering their manager is suspended for beating up his partner. So that's Ryan Giggs. Ryan Giggs, the ex-Man United player, who's suspended at the moment for this competition. So they have a temporary manager in charge, and they were everybody's tip to go out in the group stage. But Turkey were very, very poor. Like, Turkey's young players that were being touted quite highly did not turn up for this tournament. So I don't know how good Wales are. They've been dominated in 2 games, and they managed to beat Turkey. So I do think Denmark will win this on the money line. They are the better team, but with Wales, you just don't know. Last tournament, in this tournament, they got to the semis, and they have a weird story that can go both ways. Either so far they've played for this manager, but this manager is not the real coach. This is a coach that, that's come in very temporarily in Robert Page. So it's a hard one to know what way it will go in terms of emotional stakes, but Denmark are better, and they should win this.
All right,
Maybe they just didn't like the other coach.
Yeah, Denmark -120 in 90. Keep it,
Also, just for those wondering, Team Ryan has officially revoked Ryan Giggs' whatever his name was, his privileges and membership card.
No longer represent.
He's not getting the Ramrod special commemorative coffee mug this month.
All right, let's any futures worth hitting on. I'm Team Belgium all the way, riding this thing out. Billy, what are any to win it all futures that are jumping out at you before we get to a lock and a dog?
Oh yeah, okay. So I'll save the lock then as the future. For me, don't take a winner. Don't take a winning side in the England-Germany game. Just take them to advance to the final. Germany plus 400, England plus 350, I believe.
Oh, okay, that's fun.
Yeah. So don't. I mean, if they beat each other, you only need to navigate the two more games, and that will be against Sweden or Ukraine, and then someone from the other side of the draw: Netherlands, Denmark, Wales, etc. So I just don't see it, especially with England having that semi-final game at Wembley. Holland and England is a pretty even matchup, I would say, if it's not happening at Wembley Stadium, with the government coming out and removing restrictions for the semi-finals and the final because we were scared of losing the final and the semi-finals to Prague.
Well,
sorry, is it Prague? To Budapest. Sorry.
And I think it's so funny enough. I follow Formula One, and they've just announced they're going to have a full crowd at Silverstone, the track in the UK, under the guidelines that they're doing research. So I wonder if they're doing some research at the Euro 2020 semifinal final. It sounds like Billy has talked me out of taking anything with the Netherlands, and I'm just going to buy some England to advance to the finals, maybe some England to win it all at plus 750. I even see some plus 900s out there.
So yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go. I can't in good conscience have a ticket on Germany.
No.
England at 7-1, and then obviously still gonna be riding that Belgium.
I said to advance to the final, not to win it.
I know. I understand what you're doing.
I know. I'm saying to win it all. I'm gonna say they hoist the cup.
Billy knows how the juju works.
He doesn't want to jinx it. I get it. All right, let's do it. Lock dog, something spicy. I'll start things off as the soccer expert. Give me France -190 as my dog or my lock. For my dog, I will take Czech Republic to get it done in 90 minutes at plus 430. Something spicy. I will do, I could do under in the Italy-Australia game, but I'll do Croatia to win by penalty kicks at 15-1. That feels like a fun long shot. Kramer, what do you got? Lock dog, something crazy.
The lock, let's lock up the draw in the Belgium-Portugal game. 90-minute draw, plus 215. I'm not
that's
bringing.
That's not your dog.
No, I'm going bigger for my dog, Billy. For my dog, I'm going to actually, no, sorry. Lock up the corner kicks over 8.5. I forgot I wrote this. Corner kicks over 8.5 in the France-Switzerland game. Dog draw in the write it all down, Sean. The Belgium-Portugal game, and for something spicy, I'm staying in that game. Belgium wins in penalty kicks 10-1.
Ooh. Belgium wins in penalty kicks 10-1.
Because I want us to experience that dramatic moment of this team that we have carrying us to notoriety in the future's draft marketplace.
Yeah, I don't need that sweat. Billy, are you? Someone in the chat wanted to know. Jong, are you rocking a PlayStation sweatshirt? And he was wondering, are you going to be getting a PS5 with all the money you've been cashing lately?
I actually, if I turn my camera around, there's a PS5.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, fucker. I need one of those.
It's actually not connected though over there. It's confiscated from my son. It's actually
It's in timeout.
my son's room, but he was caught playing it at 2:00 in the morning, and I could hear like swearing and stuff. So I put him on there with his headset on. He didn't know that I would still hear him. So
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh man, there's nothing worse when the kids get in trouble and I gotta take away the video games because then I can't play video games.
yeah, that's not my PS5. That's what he got for Christmas. So.
All right. Well, his PS5 in the penalty box. Let's do it, Billy. Lock dog, something spicy. What do you got for us?
All right, so the lock for me is going to be France to reach the semifinals. So I'm seeing it here at somewhere anywhere between plus 100 to minus 105. The maths doesn't add up for me because they're around about minus 500, I believe, or minus 400 to qualify in this round, and they will be, if they come up against Spain or Croatia, they will be somewhere between minus 280 to minus 350 against either Spain or Croatia. It doesn't matter what one. So the way these numbers have been done, it doesn't make any sense. So the value is here for France to reach the semi-final because this parlay, if you do it individually, bet France to qualify in this game, bet for them to qualify against the winner of Spain and Croatia, it's not going to give you plus 100 or minus 105. It's not going to be close. It's going to be minus 140, minus 150 if my maths on the fly is correct.
I'm gonna run that math, but yeah, I think you're right by a mile. The minus 500 is a tough price. Even if they're only minus 300 over Spain, it's
still a better value.
It's
yeah.
minus 170. So
that's sports investing 101.
Yeah.
Great value find by Billy. What about the dog here? What do you got?
Yeah, I think if you're looking for something from the round of 16, my biggest. The dog I like is Portugal to find a way to get through Belgium. For something bigger than that, at bigger odds, ride England to get to the final at plus 350. As I said, don't bother taking any side in the Germany-England game. I would just take whoever you think is going to win, take them to reach the final. I think that's a solid way to play that.
Nice. And then spicy, any sort of long shot prop, parlay, anything like that strike your fancy?
Something bigger than plus 350.
No, I mean that could be it. If you want to make Portugal your dog, and
for
then
example,
England
Sean
went
15 to 1.
Yeah, that is completely.
I went 10 to 1.
We can do that for you.
Yeah, I've not got anything like that. I stand by my over 2.5 penalty shootouts in this tournament bet.
Ooh, that's a fun prop.
Plus 150.
It's fun too because you always, it'll last you another 3 weeks, that one.
Yeah.
So I unless of course you're out of it and there hasn't been a single penalty shootout in the round of 16, then you're worried because you've got 7 games left and you need 3 shootouts. I don't think you're going to be in that spot. I think we will see a couple of shootouts in this last 16, and that puts you in a good position where you only need 1 in the quarters or the semis. But this takes you all the way up to the final. I think another way, the longest long shot I think I would have would be a France-England final, which would be 10 to 1. But then you can also take France-Germany final and just take both sides of that. Giving you 10 and 12 to 1.
I like that. All right, Billy, appreciate you calling in. Make sure you give Billy a follow on Twitter at SGP Soccer. Make sure you subscribe to the Soccer Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Going to be doing a deep dive on all these games. Going
if this
hardcore.
Wasn't enough.
Yeah, this is a good surface level. Some soccer for some Americans and the non-hardcore fans, but there are plenty of hardcore footy fans. Make sure you check it out. Soccer Gambling Podcast,
including Sean stacking the money.
I will be tuning in, getting my deep dives, some extra nuggets.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green, and he is Ryan.
Best of luck to you, Sean. Sean Soccer Green.
Kramer, let it ride.